Hello, everybody. Jim Malone here, coming to you live on Dallas Trading Floor. Well, I hope you had a good weekend, a nice Memorial Day weekend. I certainly did. Interesting stuff happening in the market today. The what kind of started on Friday sort of pulled over and continued on Tuesday, and that is that the AI stocks, for some reason, are getting a lot of love from some serious investors. Now, I have been piling into AI, which is C3 AI. It's an AI company, but I also have been building a position in Palantir, PLTR, and they seem to both kind of be doing pretty good. So I did take a little bit of a profit on AI earlier today. I was a little bit afraid that it was gonna pull back, but it just kept on going. So really interesting stuff. On Palantir, I started really um, uh, started acquiring that really on Wednesday of last week, and then I've continued. I didn't buy any today, but it's definitely moved very significantly. Um, Now, in terms of the rest of the market, it's really uneven because, as you can see from this chart here, we have basically, um, we've got the Nasdaq was up today, and the Nasdaq was up today, but basically everything else was flat. Uh, the um, the S&P 500 basically flat, and the Dow was down. So very uneven. It's definitely a stock picker's market. It just seems like right now the AI stocks seem to be doing well. So, that just seems to be the case. With Palantir, unfortunately, it's if you're strict on Can Slim, we're really unfortunately, above the proper buy point. The proper buy point was about 1041, and I've started putting it in there, but let's look at that. PLTR. I started acquiring it about that when we had the proper buy point, but I tell you what, it has really moved. I mean, as you can see, that's the pivot. Let's move over to that. Present the live screen for Palantir here. Yeah, there we go. Okay, good. Now everyone can see it. Oh, there we go. Now everyone can kind of see it here, but basically what happened is, we were just flat forever, and then all of a sudden we got the golden cross. Now, if you've been watching my show any amount of time, you'll notice that this is a very key thing. You don't have to necessarily use the software that I'm using, but if you are looking to kind of see a change in direction in a stock, one of the most important things to do is to look for the golden cross. And what that is that's when the 50-day moving average moves above the 200-day moving average on heavy volume, which it definitely did. It did that basically about a week ago. That's really when I kind of started getting interested. It was going along here, forming in space, and then boom, we saw the 50-day moving average move above the 200-day. And that many times is an indication that it's going to go higher. And that's definitely the case here. As you can see, I basically started my buying here on the 17th. Then I followed it up on the 18th and the 23rd. Now, I haven't bought anything since, but as you can see, it's moved right up. Now, I suspect we're going to get a pullback here. That would be my guess. And indeed we are. We're pulling back in the after hours. But today, we had an increase in volume of 210%, and it was up about almost 8% just in a day. So I do kind of expect tomorrow we're going to see a little bit of a pullback. This will put it closer to the 21-day moving average. So if we look at the technicals here, you can see that indeed we are pretty far extended. We are 34% above the 21-day line. Not a good situation. It's going to have to digest this move. So here's the thing. I've kind of put my stop loss here at about 1450. And when this pulls back, I'll probably sell half the position, take some profits, and it'll pull lower. But I want to make sure that I and get those profits, because it's it's really a good thing to go. So the proper buy point on on Palantir basically is 1041, and the early entry was 850. So basically what's going to happen, it's going to pull back probably tomorrow, and then we'll see after that. Another AI stock that I've been trading, and I did sell this one earlier, but I do have a position in it. I had two positions in this one, and let's take a look at this. This is called C3 AI, and this was just unbelievable. This is a rocket ship, and it just absolutely moved. It just really moved up here. Today, like I started buying it below the pivot. I think you can see that. I marked some of it, but I've put my stop way up here, so more than likely I will be sold out of half the position tomorrow. But it's basically, my stop is at 43.50. In the after hours, it's very active at 44. So we shall see. Basically, earnings are in a day. I just don't know if it's going to work through earnings, but right now there's just been a huge interest in AI. So this one also may give us another opportunity. Hopefully it will give us another opportunity, but right now it's extended. So that is it's tough, because when these things start to run, they really run fast. Here's basically, here's a kind of a chart of Palantir here, a little bit easier to see. And you can see it just moved up tremendously. The volume, and this is really the thing that's really interesting me, is that 200% normal volume was up about 7.8%. This is Palantir. Now, if this pulls back a little bit, this may give us another opportunity. Now, Palantir currently is number one in the software enterprise group. So really, really strong. And, it's probably going to get stronger. Here's kind of what I've got. And currently I've been buying, as you know, I've been buying stocks. Today I have a good position at AMD. That's been up. It's pulled back a little bit today, but and I did take some profits on some of my positions in AMD. I'm in Google. It's off a little bit, but the volume is down, and I do kind of anticipate that to move higher. Of course, we're talking about Palantir. That's moved extremely well as well. It's moved up. I'm in TTD. Now, this is a company called The Trade Desk. It was up today on lower volume, about 3%. So pretty strong there too. I've been accumulating a position in Double Verify, and Double Verify DV. This is another stock that I think has a really strong potential. And the reason I think it does is because it is a stock that basically, what it does is it verifies that the advertising is actually getting out there. So it verifies Google, it verifies Meta, it verifies TTD. I just think this is a tremendous area of as well. It's called DV Double Verify, and I have been accumulating it. Let's take a look at the kind of a live chart on that. I just want to show you that kind of where I bought, and something that you might be interested in. I don't know if we can still get into it. Let's see. Okay, I'm gonna add this. There we go. Sometimes I don't get these. There we go. Okay, so with Double Verify, and I'll show this to everybody on TikTok here. On Double Verify, the deal is that we are, as you can see where I've been buying, I've been buying right below that pivot. The pivot on this one, 32.43. Now we're almost out of the buy zone here. So this is one of the reasons why I was making a move a little bit on the position size. I was trying to move it up a little bit. Why? Because we're almost out of that buy zone here. But and we are pretty far extended from the 21-day line. But the primary buy point is 32.43. We're currently at 34.05. So you could still probably start to acquire a position here. I suspect tomorrow we're going to see this thing pull back a little bit, closer to about 32.44 or so. That's where I think it's going to go. But we have a strong relative strength, 95. And let's take a look at some of the other things about this one. The reason I like this one so much, it has a 100% checklist. And of course, there's not a lot of stocks that have a 100% checklist, but this one definitely does. So DV, Double Verify, that's the name of the stock. And I do think I do think that it definitely has some potential. So we shall see where that one is going. All right, I just wanted to show you this. We are actually in a power trend. I know that everybody else in the world is saying that, doom and gloom, the world is coming to an end, but according to the calculations that CanSlim uses, we are in a power trend, and the market conditions, at least in the short term, have improved. And that's amazing. So it's okay to increase your exposure. I've been trying to get my exposure up. I still have a fair amount of cash in most of my accounts, but I am trying to get my exposure up. Why? Because we're in a power trend, and when a power trend happens, things start to move. Also, I want to show you another stock that I did buy today. It's a very interesting stock. I don't know a whole lot about it. Here I am buying stuff that I don't know a whole lot about, but it's definitely something that I think is very, very worth looking at. And this stock is a stock, and let's go back to go back to the stocks that I do have. I want to show you this because this is FLNC. It's Fluence Energy. Now, why would I buy a stock like this? Well, part of the reason is this is a battery storage company, and it's basically two very, very large companies. AES, which is an electric power utility company in Arlington, Virginia, but it's massive. I mean, they own power plants all over the U.S. And Siemens Corporation, which is a tremendous, which is a tremendously large German company that's in the energy business. But one of the things I want to really show you on this is this chart. It's FLNC. So I'm going to move over to the chart here, and let's look at it really quick. FLNC. There we go. This is the one I did buy today, and who knows? I mean, what's going to happen? But it was set up extremely nicely, and let's get over to that screen so you can see it. There we go. So basically, what the deal is here is this one. There's a buy point on this of 26.78 FLNC, and it's been in this range. It's been in this consolidation from here to here. So on the low side, about 1470, and the top at the pivot, 2878. So in this range. And as you can see, it's come down, it's gotten support there, it's moved up, and then it came down, and this is a handle. And what happened is when it came with the handle, it then went above the handle. This is a buy point. Notice that it came above the handle, and it has higher than average volume. This is a logarithmic scale. And so anytime it goes above that, that shows buying activity when it's blue here. So that's definitely the case. The relative strength of this one is 97. And you see that the relative strength line is improving. So here's the deal. We have a situation where, we have a situation where this one is improving. It's in an interesting area, and that is it's in the electric storage, battery storage area. Now, this looks like this is going to be a competitor to Tesla, and in the battery storage area. And I think this has a very, very big, future, because I think what we're going to start to see is a lot of these electric utilities buy these battery packs. And one of the things is I do think this company can deliver because of the association with Siemens. And Siemens is the largest electrical company in Germany, and they're very, very large company. So they can definitely, they definitely have enough capacity to be able to satisfy the demand. I think the demand is going to be huge for this. Tesla already has been doing pretty well in that. Let's take a look at the Tesla. I do have a small position in Tesla currently, TSLA. Of course, it's the symbol. Let's take a look at it real quick. There we go. Now, here's the thing about Tesla. I do believe that we're starting to see Tesla move in a very good way, and that is we're moving, and you can see where I've all my positions in it. It just moved above 200. This is a very critical level for Tesla. Now, in the after hours, it did pull back, but it's still above 200. If Tesla can hold above 200, I think it's likely to go higher. We've definitely seen some people coming in at this. This is a critical level for Tesla, 200. So if it can hold above 200, then I probably will be buying more because it's probably going to move up to at least 207, probably higher. So right now, some of the big companies are acquiring Tesla. I mean, they're acquiring Tesla shares. So that's a very interesting thing. All right. Well, thank you for holding out so much here. Let's take a look at some of the questions. Ramesh, hey, thank you, Ramesh. Tesla entry point. It's a good question. What I'm looking at on Tesla here, let's move over to the Tesla chart to kind of look, where I would enter this. I think we're going to be, I think, I started buying it right below here. I started making buys, basically at 196 and then, right at 200. I believe that 200 is the entry point for Tesla if it can maintain, if it can maintain the momentum. Here's what's going on. We have a relative strength line that's starting to move up higher. By the way, this is the S&P 500 line here, and this is the relative strength line of Tesla. You'll notice that the Tesla line is sloping up. The S&P 500 is relatively flat. That means that Tesla is gaining in terms on the S&P. So there definitely is money moving into here. Now, we don't quite have a golden cross yet. If you'll notice, the 50-day line is still below the 200-day line. But I do believe that if Tesla can move to 200 and hold it, we're going to probably see a little bit of a rally in Tesla. The question is, how far is the rally going to be? I think it's going to be up to about 217 or so. That's where the higher high is. So I definitely think we could see probably, a 10% gain here relatively quickly, as long as the market continues to hold. So I think as long as we hold this upward trend, I think that, Tesla could easily move from about 200 on up to, I think the next real ceiling for Tesla stock is going to be about 217.50. That's what I'm looking at anyways. If it can hold that and move over, it's going to go even better. But here's the thing. And I don't know if you were looking at the shareholders meeting of Tesla, but it does appear that the Model 3 is now the largest selling car in the world. That's an amazing thing, because for years that prize had been held by the Corolla, and the Corolla is still an incredibly well-selling car, but the Model 3 the numbers are excellent on it. And I do think that, now that, I think we've probably, the bottom obviously was about 105, but I do think that now that we're moving above 200, I think you're going to see a lot of the institutions come back in, because it does have the potential. It absolutely does have the potential. All right, we have a question from on TikTok from NVIDIA. I do think we're going to see a pullback in NVIDIA, but it's still a excellent stock. I wish I had been in this one. I just couldn't get it because I had to substitute AMD here only because I just didn't want to buy it as extended as it's become. And I may be kicking myself for that because, oops, there we go. I may be kicking myself a little bit for that. Let's pull the NVIDIA chart up here. Yeah, there we go. Okay. And NVIDIA. All right. So there's NVIDIA. Oops. Let's see if I can make sure that this is NVIDIA chart. Go. All right. Oh, wrong one. There we go. So now we're looking at the NVIDIA chart here. Thank you very much for this. We had a gap up. As you can see, we had a gap up from this. We pulled down to the 21-day line. This is one of the reasons why when you're buying and you're not buying out of a base, it's really good to buy as close you can to the 21-day line because typically that's where you're going to see the big boys come in, and that's exactly what happened 3 days ago. That basically on Wednesday of last week, on Thursday it hit the 21-day line, and then basically it opened up on Thursday and Friday of last week. It just rocketed. It's up above 400, but it's now pulled back to 400. 400 is key level for Nvidia. I do think that it's probably going to hold it, but I don't. I think it's probably going to pull back a little bit just because things just can't go this parabolic. It's just really, really difficult for them to. But look at the amount of buying that's coming in. Nvidia is a proxy for the entire market. So I do think that as long as we see Nvidia stay above approximately about 350, that's where I'm looking at it, above about 350, I think the market is, at least for the AI stocks, is probably going to be very strong. I do kind of expect a little bit of correction here. I don't know if it's topped or not, but it will probably pull back. It's still an upward trend, so don't worry about that. Look at this relative strength line; it just goes straight up, and this is, of course, this is the S&P 500. Now look at this in comparison to the the S&P 500. You can see how it just absolutely, when earnings came out, it just rocketed up, and we see this very, very strong against the S&P 500. Now, here's one thing. This is a cautionary thing on Nvidia. Currently, it doesn't have a 100% checklist. I do believe it's a little bit extended. I mean, in fact, I think it's a lot extended if we look at it. We're basically 5% above the 21-day line. So I do expect a correction back down. So right now, it's not an ideal time to buy it at this level. I do think that we're going to see a little bit of a resistance at 400, but I do think it's going to pull back, and that may be giving us another opportunity. So I do think that we're going to see it move in that direction. All right, let's go to another question. Thank you so much. Let's look at Shop. Now, I own Shop as well, and it pulled back a little bit today. I'm very bullish on Shop right now because of the chart pattern, and I want to show you that. Let's take a look at it. There we go. Okay, so here we go. It's pretty hard to see this. Maybe I can zoom in a little bit. Let me see if I can do that. To zoom in a little bit on it so you can kind of see the chart better. There we go. All right, so hopefully this is going to give us a little bit better. I'm going to pull it over to there. Hopefully this is going to give us a little better look-see at the chart. Now, what happened with Shopify is that this is a handle. So this is the cup. This is the buy point being 49. Oops. There we go. 49.36. That's the buy point. Now, here's one thing that I do is it does show. You see the relative strength is 97, but notice how the relative strength line is moving lower. Okay, I do believe that we're going to see it basically I think it's going to get traction right here at the 21-day line. You'll notice it's up in the after hours, and I think that if we can see that, it's going to show it. There we go. The 21-day line, we're almost at the 21-day line, is 57.72. I definitely think that is where we're going to see it bounce, because this is typically, you'll notice how in the last few days, 1, 2, 3, 4 days, you notice how it's come down to that 21-day line and then it's moved. So this is a good place to enter, believe it or not, even though we are above the cup with handle. So this is not a bad place to enter. And I do think that we're going to see this one. I think we're going to see a lot of strength on this one. A lot of strength on this one. For Sarah, let's take a look at Shockwave. This is one I don't have. I wish I had it. I mean, it's funny when stocks break out, they all do it at once. So it's always, that's always a thing. Let's see if I can get that correct. Oh, let's see, move this over. This is Shockwave, SWAV. Okay, well, not quite. WAV. And this is an interesting company. It's an Israeli company in the medical space, and they have a very interesting um, way of getting plaques off of the insides of, insides of the of of blood vessels, and they use sound waves to do this. It's pretty amazing. Uh, with shockwave, we've got a situation here where, again, this is why it's so important to buy close to this 21-day line. This is the green line here. Why? Because, well, that's sort of where it gets support. You'll notice how it came up to the $300 pivot. That's the $300 pivot right there, and then it pulled back, and then this is the handle, and then but every time it hits the 21-day line, it moves up. Now it's pulled back again. It's gathering strength once again. Um, but here's the thing: we probably want to wait until we get a close above about about 295. So that's probably what we want to see, if we can get some strength here and come up. But this is not a reason to sell it or anything like that. You'll notice, and I also want to show you this. This is really interesting. We have a we have a golden cross on shockwave. Okay, what does that mean? Well, we've got the 200-day moving average and then the 50-day moving average. And notice how this is moving above that. Well, notice that's exactly when we saw it hit its top, its peak, 308, which is above what they call the pivot. So, and then it was rejected. It pulled back. So it's gathering strength once again. And we have to, and let's take a look at the volume here. Um, they reported unbelievably good earnings. Oops. They reported great earnings. All right, let's see if I can get it over there. Okay. So they reported great earnings here. And then this little teardrop means that we had a absolutely the largest volume since the last formation. So that's a very, very interesting thing. And then the volume has pulled down. Now, why is that? Well, a lot of people just aren't willing to sell at this price, but there's not a lot of activity. Now, if we get more activity coming in here, this will move up. But right now, I wouldn't add to the position. I would wait, especially if you have a position here. I would wait a little bit on this one. I want to see a close above about 295 on heavier volume, and then I think we're going to have some really nice action on Shockwave. It's an excellent, excellent stock. So definitely something that is worth looking at. All right, let's see. Next question. Thank you so much. All right, let's see. I work, I work in IT. And it seems like AI is the new buzzword. Yeah, absolutely, absolutely. Do you think AI companies and technologies will grow uh, crash like it? I think they're gonna. I think we're gonna see a huge. I mean, it's true. Listen, AI. I mean, I've been around um, IT, really, believe it or not, since the 80s. I had a little software company years ago, and AI has been around, and it's been the buzzword. But now I think it's really happening. One stock that I really like is Palantir. And why do I like this stock so much? Well, because they are targeting an area of the market that I think is really good. Like, for instance, if you have maintenance and you have all these systems that are reporting back with data, Palantir allows that to be somewhat automated. So I do think that, unlike crypto, where it crashes and it comes back, I think that AI is very, very real. But the problem is, everybody is going to have an AI stock. It's just like, before 2000, anybody that had a .com was like, everybody was .com, and so I think there's going to be a lot of ones that don't really work. Now, I do think there are several ones out there that are going to look good. I mean, I think that the big boys like Microsoft and Google, of course, are going to be in there because they have to be. But I think that C3 AI, it's not profitable yet, is probably going to do very, very well. And I also think Palantir is. So that's my take on it right now. But that's really a good point that you bring up. It really is a good point. Let's look at the spider. And of course, the spider is the uh, the ETF, the exchange traded fund that covers that covers. Let's see if I can get it up. That covers the S&P 500. Now, come on. What I'll do is I'll have to decrease the size a little bit. And I've had shockwave up, but let's put up the spider. Spider. All right, here we go. This is the spider. Let's get it over there correctly so everyone can see it. We're starting. Let me zoom in a little bit. There we go. So you can kind of see kind of what's going on. We do seem to have a little bit. $420 is a key level on the 420 is a key level on the spider. And so as you can see, this is 420 right here. All right. So we definitely have a ceiling here. So it's going to take a little bit probably to break through this. Let's take a look at the volume. Yeah, the volume is less than average today. So we kind of had a weak day. And this is maybe one of the reasons why, we're getting this bifurcated market where we're getting some stocks like in the AI that are doing great, and then everything else not so much. So this is the key. The question is, can we in a third day move above this? I have a feeling that we're probably going to see, we may see it break through 420. We're definitely in that in the after hours. If we can hold 420 and move above that, the market is going to rally a little bit. So that's an important thing. But here's the thing: as we get too far away from the 21-day line, that could be an issue. So let's look at where we are. We're 1.4% above the 21-day line. So we're still not extended at all. So I definitely think it could move higher than that. You can see the last higher high back here was 418. 420 is the next key level. And if it can move above that and hold it tomorrow, I think we're going to see a rally. I think we're going to see a rally in the market, which is kind of amazing. But I definitely think that's going to happen. All right, let's see if we could see. Please do Lam Research. Okay, that's LRTX. Lam Research, LRCX, I believe. Let's get it up. Let's go here. And let's look at Lam Research, LRCX. There we go. Lam Research. And as a point of full disclosure, I used to work for Price Waterhouse, and Lam Research was actually one of my accounts way back in the day. That was before they were big like they are now, but it was we would always go over there to Fremont, and it was interesting. Here's the thing about Lam Research: we've broken out of this consolidation, and it basically is 548 is the top of the consolidation, the bottom about 467. So this is the consolidation. We've broken out of that. We're above the buy zone, and then we pulled back. We got some support again at that 21-day line. That's why I'm always so interested in that. And then we've moved up. Here's what I think is going to happen, and obviously it is. It's pulling back in the after hours. I definitely think we're going to see a pullback probably closer to that 21-day line. So the 21-day line basically is 11. It's 11% above the 21-day line. I definitely think, at least in the near future, in the next few days, I definitely think we're going to see it pull back. I mean, it's made some very nice progress, but I think it's going to probably pull back to about the $600 level. That's right here. And that's why I think we're going to get some support. But it's moved up very nicely. 95 relative strength. We've got an increasing relative strength against, I think you can see it. Well, you can't quite see it. Against the S&P 500 is relatively flat. So it's increasing against the strength of the S&P 500. So here's the thing I would say with Lamb Research, based on what I'm looking at on Lamb, we're going to see it probably pull back to about 600. It's probably going to continue up from there, but we want to get it. We want to make sure that it gets support at 600. That's probably a decent place to buy it. We're too far. We're too far above the 21-day line now. We're at about 11% above that. I don't want to buy it with that far away from the 21-day line. I think if you're looking for an entry point for Lamb, I think what you got to do is wait until it pulls back. Really, it should be pulled back to 5% above 566. So really, it needs to be below that $600 level before you could probably make a buy on it. So that's kind of what I'm looking at. Good stock, definitely very, very important in the chip sector. And so there you go. Jim, what was the battery storage stock that you spoke about earlier? Oh, okay. Sorry about that. Let me show you this one. And this is really interesting. I started acquiring this one relatively recently, and I want to show you this one. Thanks for that question, by the way. It's FLNC. And let's look at this. Reason I think this is an interesting stock, first of all, it's set up very well, but FLNC. The reason I like this one so much is because it is not only is it set up well, but the companies that are involved in this have the ability to really affect the market. And that's where I bought my one position. Now it's up after hours. You'll notice, see, it's up almost 2% after hours. I definitely think that we're going to see this move tomorrow. I bought a small position, just a half position. But here's the thing: what's going on is that we have the floor on this. As you can see, this is what they call consolidation. It's about 1470. So that's the low of it, and the high of it is about this 2678. Now, what did I do here? Now, I drew a little bit of line here. That's what they call the reversal line. You'll notice that even though this is not a cup with handle, this is a consolidation with a handle. So it's not a perfect cup, but it's sort of like that. What happens is when a stock gets ready to move, it'll pull back down primarily to that 21-day line. And then once it gets close to that, you'll start to see the buyers come in. And that's exactly what happened today. We were pulling back. You notice how fewer and fewer people wanted to sell. And then all of a sudden, nobody was willing to sell at that lower price. So the price had to move up. That's what happened today. And currently, I still think this is very, very buyable at about 25. So I definitely think this one is definitely buyable. Let's look at how far. It's a little bit extended from the 21-day line. I don't like to buy that much above the 21-day line. So, but if you'll notice at 24, we're going to be a little bit far away from that 21-day line because the 21-day line is 21.42. So right now, currently, we're 12% above that 21-day line. So if you did buy here, this is a little bit speculative. It may pull back a little bit. I don't think that's going to happen, though. So I definitely think we could buy this one. And this is an interesting company. I want to show you this one. It's called Fluence Energy. I can't pronounce all these ones correctly. But the interesting thing about this one is Siemens Corporation is involved with this. So this is indeed very, very interesting. Let's kind of look at the fundamentals here on this one just really quickly. You'll notice it hasn't been around very long, but this isn't a startup stock. This is essentially a large company that this is a stock that is basically two very large companies that have gone into partnership. So this is not a startup company, but it's in a great area. You'll notice that they just reported sales. Their sales for this quarter were up 104%. Now, they're still in a money-losing position. You'll notice that their cash flow is low, but I'm not as worried about this. Why? Because of the strength of the strength of this partnership. It's a very, very strong partnership. Basically, so this is the problem in renewables. This is the problem in a lot of other areas, is that what is really needed isn't more solar energy, it's more battery storage. And this company kind of checks the box on that. So really like this company, and I've just started a position. I haven't completely moved into it, but I am looking to, because I do think it's a really good area. I think it's an area that's going to be quite successful. Okay, let's look for ExxonMobil. Okay, you want to look at the oils? Let's take a look at the oils. The oils have been kind of disappointing as of late. I got shaken out of my position in Exxon. I was doing great in it, but I got shaken out of my position in Exxon. Let's look at ExxonMobil first. That's the one that I probably like the best out of all of them. Let's see if there's any place that we could get back in to an Exxon. Let me see, XOM. And there we go with ExxonMobil. And let's go over here to the daily chart. And there we go. Okay, not a good look on ExxonMobil, unfortunately. I wish this were the case. This is what happens. You don't when a stock can't hold the 200-day line, you got to sort of move out of it a little bit, unfortunately. That's been the case with ExxonMobil. We had this beautiful, I was buying it all the way up here. You can see I was buying it there. I was buying it there. And then I bought 50 shares here on the handle, and then I got shaken out. When it pulled back down to the 21-day line. It couldn't hold it. That's where I was out. And then unfortunately it made a rally, and then it's pulled back. So right now at 103, it was at 104. I still like the stock, but the problem is, and it is an absolute monster when it comes to dividends, but I don't think you could buy it here. I think you got to wait on it, unfortunately, because you have a declining relative strength line. So I would be very careful with this one. Now let's look at Oxy. This is the Warren Buffett stock. Warren Buffett owns a big percentage of this. Why? Because, well, back about a year or two ago, this company was acquiring all kinds of leases in the Permian Basin, and that's the biggest oil producing area for the U.S. And what happened was they couldn't get a bank loan. They couldn't get a loans for anybody, so they had to go to Warren Buffett. Warren Buffett said, "Yeah, sure, I'll give you a loan. It's 13.5%." They did it, and then the price of oil went down, and then all of a sudden they didn't have the same CEO that they have, and Warren Buffett basically ended up owning it, and he's been buying it ever since. Here's the thing I don't like about, at least in the short term, about Oxy. You'll notice that the 50-day line has moved below, and this is for people on TikTok there, you can see it. The 50-day line has moved below that 200-day line. That shows weakness. And basically, we've had weakness since about February in the oils. And this has been unfortunate because I do like the area a lot. But I just think right now it's just one of those times when we just can't really, it's just not letting us in. So we're currently below the 200-day line. We're below the 50-day line. I think you got to be extremely careful buying here. I want to wait. Now, potentially you could buy it, and this would be a little, if it got supported about 55.50, if it got support there and if it bounced there, that's probably where it's going to bounce. But right now it's in a downward trend. You just don't want to buy anything like this in a downward trend. You just don't, because it's just not a good deal. I mean, being a trader, you need to be always aware of the direction of a stock. And right now, Oxy is moving lower, so we can't really do anything here. We can't add, we can't do anything. So it's really, really tough. All right, let's take a look at Chevron, which is the last of the three oil stocks, CVX. And by the way, this ExxonMobil and CVX are the two biggest components of the Energy Select Spider, the XLE. And that's an interesting one. It's kind of a similar state of affairs here. Let's see if we can get that back. Kind of a similar state of affairs when it comes to this other oil stock. And Chevron is one of the very best, by the way. But right now, the price of oil is lower, and that just is affecting everything. 149, 150. This is about the pivot. This is about the bottom for the consolidation. So I definitely think that, if it bounces here, this might provide us an opportunity. I probably wouldn't buy it though in this condition because, and let's go make sure that we can see it on the screen. There we go. I probably would not be buying it at this level. Why? Because I definitely think it needs to bounce, and I think it needs to move above that 200-day line. That's really what my key is right here. So right now the the oils just aren't giving us any opportunities. It's kind of sad, but it's kind of sad. But we're just not getting any opportunities in the oil stocks. Let's see. Okay, Palantir. We covered that earlier. Made 5K on Palantir. Yes, sirree, in the past week, and immediately used the money to wipe my credit card's debt. This is excellent. Good for you. 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 That is, excellent. Let me just put this in X and T. Excellent. I just want to put that out there. That is great. Thank you for that comment so much. It's even Palantir is probably going to move higher, but definitely good time to start taking profits. I definitely am looking to take some profits. I'm a little heavy on Palantir right now, and but that is so great news from TikTok. Wiped out. You made $5,000 on Palantir last week, and you've wiped out your credit card debt. Staying debt free in this environment is a great thing. So congratulations. Congratulations on that. That is excellent. All right, let's look at AL. Okay, let's see. AL. Let's look at AL real quick. Air Lease, not a company that I've been trading right now. Air Lease looks like it is right at the 200-day moving average. So the question is this started an upward trend? It does look like it's bottomed basically at 36. It's 39 and the after hours. Boy, I don't know. This would be a tough one. I don't like the finance companies right now, to be honest with you. Yeah, we're right at the 21-day line. So if you're going to buy it, this wouldn't be a bad place to buy it. Let's see if my little pattern recognition says. Yeah, we're in a consolidation. We've got about 16% to go to the pivot. I don't know. I'm not too excited about this. I'm not seeing a lot of volume here. I'm seeing 1 day above average. That was here. But by and large, I'm just seeing it hang on the 200-day line. I want to see a little bit more power. I want to see it move higher. I probably would pass on this one just for right now. That's what I would do. All right, Triple M. Okay, so this is 3M. Everybody knows this one because they have post-it notes. All right, and Scotch tape. That's another good one. Just a terrible chart. I would stay away from this one personally because I just think it's a horrible chart here, and it's just all the way down. Here's the thing. Typically, the first thing you do when you look at a stock is look at the chart. Look at the way look at the direction of the chart. Now, with 3M, this is going straight down. So this is not a good thing. This is going from Seattle to Miami, not the route you want. You want the Los Angeles to New York route. Okay, you want it going like this. So it's going the wrong way. So that's the first thing you look at. So not the right direction. Secondly, it's below the 200-day moving average. Nothing good happens below that 200-day moving average. And also it's below the 50-day moving average. And also against the S&P 500, it has a relative strength of 20. That means 80% of the market is better than this. Avoid it. Avoid it. This one is you just want to avoid it for now. It's just not behaving the right way. So, so 3M, avoid it. I mean, that's just the way, that's just the way you can see. So 3M here, you just got to avoid this one. It's just not the right look, unfortunately. I wish I had good things to say about it, but I don't. So you just don't want to be in. You just don't want to be in that one. Alrighty, Uncle Roman. Let's look at CFL and TMO. Let's look at TMO. Thermo Fisher, this is one of the all-time great leader stocks. This is, this company has done well forever. The question is it doing well now? That's the question. Because, we don't want to buy yesterday's stocks. We want to buy today's stocks. And unfortunately, at least for right now, the trend on this is not your friend. So it's moving lower. It's moving lower. So again, would I buy this stock? Well, let me tell you what's starting to happen. We had a golden cross there with this 50-day moved above the 200-day, but unfortunately, that was back at the end of February, at the end of January, well, middle of January. So that was in the middle of January, but since then it's just gone lower. So the trend is not our friend right now. We don't want to buy this. Why? Because, well, if you'll notice, this red line is just about ready to cross the black line, and that is the death cross. So we don't want to do that. So right now, I just think you can't buy it. So it's unfortunate because I like Thermo Fisher. I mean, I really do. I think it's a great company, but you know, um, TMO is an avoid. I mean, it just really is. That's the long and the short of it. Oops. There we go. TMO is an avoid. So we really can't buy this Thermo Fisher, unfortunately. It just is not shaping up well. So don't buy this one right now. Wait for a better condition. Wait for a better stock. Wait for a better stock. All right. I think we're just about out of time here. All right. I want to show you ones I think are setting up nicely. And let's take a look at ones that I think that we might be able to see that are setting up. And of course, one of the ones I like, and I'm probably am too heavy on this one, is Double Verify DV. I do think this one is still viable, and I think it's really setting up. It's pulling back a little bit in after hours. It's pulling about 1% back, so it's pulling down. But I definitely like this one a lot, DV. Why? Because, well, it's in the buy zone for one thing, and it's also a top-rated stock in the software enterprise area, so I definitely like that. Also, it's above, if you notice, the 200-day line, the 50-day line, the 21-day line, and the 10-day line. So it's going to pull back a little bit. Why? Because it needs to get close to that 21-day line. But I definitely like this one. I definitely like this one. I've been kind of buying and selling it, and I definitely think that it's got a lot of volume coming in, and I definitely think this one's looking good. So this is one that we possibly could put on the watch list for tomorrow. Would be would be Double Verify. Double Verify. That's one I definitely like. Oh, wait a minute. I said TMO avoid. I would say, watch list is going to good for the watch list. Double Verify. All right. Well, thanks everybody to taking a look at my show. If you don't already have, if you're not already a member of the Action Trailer, it's very easy to do. All you have to do is you go over to www.Dallas Trading Floor, and if you could, this really helps us out. If you could smash the like button, that would really, really help. So smash the like button for Dallas Trading Floor. And also, if you want, get on the free Action Trade Alerts. I haven't sent out a thing in a while, but smash the like button for Dallas Trading Floor. That really, really helps us. And I'll be back tomorrow, hopefully at the same time, about 5 o'clock or so. Till then, everybody, happy trading.